Hi there, welcome back to Fully Blessed. I'm Amanda, and this is the channel where we discuss timeless truths about issues that are important to women of faith. And today, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about two things that are very important that every Christian should be making a regular part of their life. That would be prayer and Bible study. So, the reason that I'm really wanting to share with you today is because I feel like, especially after I moved out on my own for the first time, these two habits were really hard to get started, particularly prayer. I was pretty good about doing my Bible study every day during breakfast time, but it was just really hard to get an established time for prayer. And so I wanted to share some things with you today that were helpful to me, and I hope that they will be a help and an encouragement to you also. Now, firstly, why are these things important? Why is having a regular quiet time in the Word and prayer time important? Well, there are many Bible verses, both in the Old and the New Testament, sharing how men and women of old valued and treasured the Scriptures. And I think that sets a strong example for us to follow. Also, it's how we know who God is and what He has said and what He has done and what He wants us to do as a response to that. It's also a comfort for us, and it's a safeguard for us. And in this day and age where everything is changing, this is the thing that will not change. These two standards, if you will not change, and it's the solid foundation that we need. Both of these things are also essential for our growth, and they're also both essential for knowing what is right and what is wrong, and how to give a proper response in this daily world that we live in. When everything seems so topsy-turvy, this is what we need as our standard. So some practical tips for you as we consider daily Bible study time. Well, first, some things I might suggest perhaps that you include, and it may not be all of these. It may not be all of these every day. Some of these things you might use at different seasons in your life. I know I sure have changed periodically with these things, but some things that I definitely recommend using very regularly would be a daily Bible reading plan or a daily devotional. However, I might caution you to maybe veer toward the daily Bible reading plan versus the devotional, as some of them can be far more filled with the author's personal thoughts than they actually are the scriptures. So to be on the safe side, I might recommend doing more of a daily Bible reading plan. You may also wish to include journaling as part of your time. You can write down thoughts from the passage you read, any questions you might have, things that you're really struggling with as you read this passage. You might also enjoy making some flashcards to help with Bible memory. That might be a really great thing to include regularly in your devotional time. For example, if you know that you struggle with anger or pride, those might be great things to write down Bible verses and memorize those as you grow in your walk. You might even choose a book that will help you have wisdom or grow in an area that you need growth in. Maybe you know that you need help with anger again, let's say. So maybe you find a book about being a peacemaker or being humble and letting that anger go. That might be a really great thing to include as part of your daily Bible reading time. Many people have also enjoyed reading different apologetical books. Apologetics is the study and the practice of defending the faith. Maybe that's something you need some extra encouragement and support in. So get one of those books and read that. Learn how to better defend your faith. And I know many people enjoy reading books by the Puritans and really famous old authors. And that's wonderful. Find those old preachers who have been around hundreds of years ago and learn from them. And if you're still really struggling to know what's best for you, ask your pastor. Ask an older woman in your life, what's been a really good book on this subject that has helped you? Or I found these devotionals that I think might be good. Which one would you recommend? I think that'll be really beneficial for you. And I would also encourage you, as you get started with this, especially as you get started with this, don't get discouraged. There are going to be days where it just doesn't happen or where you forget. That's okay. There are going to be days that you run out of time, and that's okay. But do what you can as often as you can. If you feel like you have to spend 30 minutes, and I know I don't have 30 minutes today, so therefore it's just not going to happen at all, you won't be successful that way. If 10 minutes is all you have today, then do that. Be faithful in what you can and make an effort to grow. Do it often. Again, it might not be every day, but do it often as you can and make it a priority. If that means you have to get up 15 minutes earlier, then do that. If that means you need to set a daily alarm in your phone so that you remember, do that. Use those helpful tools so that you don't forget and that you make it a daily habit. And I would also encourage you to prioritize Bible reading. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. And when we think about prayer time, many people really like to write out their prayers. So if you're someone who enjoys journaling during Bible time, you might also really be comforted by writing out your prayers as you're praying. That might help you to stay focused. So that's a great tool to use. I also like to record answers to prayer. I have a jar that I keep that I add a little note card to every time we have a blessing or an answer to prayer in our life. And it's a joy to look back on those at the end of the year and just see how God has worked in our life. I also really enjoy making a list, prayer requests from church or missionary updates. Maybe there's a cause that you're super passionate about, and so you look for prayer requests based on those things. Pray lots for those things that you already are super passionate about and you think about a lot. And you can even make that list in your phone, or maybe it's a small notebook that you keep in your purse. The two benefits to those things are you can very easily add to it and make updates to it, but also you always have it with you, and then you can pray on the go when you have 3 minutes in line at the Target checkout, or maybe you're waiting in line at Caribou, or you're supposed to pick up a package and it's still waiting to be delivered, or whatever the case might be. Whenever you have a few minutes, then you always have it with you to pray. And I would also encourage you to pray for those who are in leadership. If you're married, pray for your husband. Pray for him lots. If you're not married, pray for your future husband and pray for him lots. You can pray for your pastor. Pray for our government leaders, both on the local and national levels. Those people need our prayer and our concern. And I also really like to have a different list for each day. I pray for each of my siblings through the week. I pray for different pastor friends that I know each a different day. So you can change it up a little bit too, and that will help to keep it from feeling like you're stuck in a rut. I would also encourage you, if you can, to follow up with these people, especially if they have made a point to ask you to pray for something. Check in with them during the week. Send them a message and just say, hey, I was praying for your mom's surgery that happened this last week. How did it go? That is so encouraging to hear an update like that and to get a text that you were thinking about them and praying for them. Also consider, are there community events? Is there a weekly prayer night at your church? Does the local food shelf have a weekly prayer meeting that you could go to? Where else can you be involved in what's already happening that would increase your prayer life? And so the last thing maybe to think about is, when should we do these things? It might be most preferable to do it in the morning. There's something special about starting our day and giving first priority to Bible reading and prayer. And I'm a morning person, so that works really well for me. That's when my mind is sharpest, and that's when I have quiet time, and I'm focused, and I can do that. But maybe that's not the same for you. what is best in your life, what is best in your schedule, but I would encourage you to think, when are you the freshest? And when do you have the most time that it can be focused and not distracted? Maybe that needs to be at 4 o'clock, right away when you get home, before you start your fun evening plans, or before you do your workout, or before you get ready to go to dinner in a little bit, or whatever it may be. See how you can still give first priority to these important things each day, but at the time that is best for you. So those are the encouragements that I have for you today. I hope that that was helpful and a blessing to you. And if it has been, please share with others who might need this encouragement too. And until next time, remember that you are fully blessed because of the work that Jesus has done for you. So go and be a blessing.